All right, so today we're going to take a look at this family photo album that was gifted to us by a lady named Nellie Key Wood. And Nellie Key Wood was the aunt, I believe, the aunt of my grandmother, Priscilla. And Nellie Key Wood was born in 1896 on Christmas Eve, and she died in 1997. I spoke to her on the phone for the first and only time on Christmas Day of 1996 to wish her a happy 100th birthday. And she was alive in ancient times, which is crazy. And this book has survived a long, long time. So let's get into it. This book, now, forgive me for the shadows. Let's see if we can see here. My Monsieur and Mademoiselle Branchaud de Basile et de Lizzie. So that is, well, it's the book of Mr. Branchaud, who is Moisey Branchaud, and his wife, Elizabeth Henriette Mondelet Branchaud, who is the mother, they're the mother and father of Lizzie, who is Elizabeth, and Elizabeth's sister, Emmeline. They have about 6 names each. But for today's purposes, we're going to call them Elizabeth and Emmeline. I think that was their main names. And this book was put together August the 31st, 1892. A lot of the photos in this book, I believe, are, well, they're any time between 1860 and 1910, I would say. So we'll start here on this photo. That man on the right, I thought his name was John, but it turns out his name is William Key Wood. He is the father of Nellie and Nellie's sister, Maria. And Maria, it could be Marie. I think it's Maria. I'll call her Maria. That's Maria there. And this is probably 1894 or 1895. That's when she was born. And that is the mother, Emmeline. That's Emmeline is the twin sister of Elizabeth, who is my great-great-grandmother. So here we are again, and that is Maria, and that is Emmeline. And this is Nellie Key Wood, the lady I spoke with. And I'd be guessing that Nellie is probably 3. Maria looks about 6. This looks to be about 1900. Could be 1899, but let's go with 1900. It's kind of neat, eh? Like the tree and the vase and the floor and the chairs. It's also interesting to see that, even though it looks so ancient, it was modern at the time, right? Now, because of where the book's sitting, I'm going to have to do this. So this lady here is Emmeline. I would guess she's about 14 here, 15, 14. She was born in 1862, which would make this about 1877, maybe 1876. I would say 75 or 76, because there's photos of them later. So, see, they're twins. Emmeline, Elizabeth, born in November of 1862, and these photos are definitely mid-1870s. Pretty cool, huh? There's more Emmeline. And this is their mother. This lady's name is also like my great-grandmother. This is my great-great-great-grandmother. This is Elizabeth Henriette Mondelet, a.k.a. Branchaud. Because Emmeline and Elizabeth, they're Branchauds. This lady was born in 1835, and she died in 1924. Cool, I have like the photo doesn't completely come in. It's just kind of like faded. And I would say she's in her 60s here, but I mean, she could be her 40s or 50s. People looked older than they were. But if she was 65, this would be 1900, like the original photos. But if this was at the time of these photos, then, I mean, it's possible. That would make her 40, which should be a couple years younger than me, which is crazy. I mean, she could be. That's Emmeline again. And that is the same pot as in the old photo there. And that is Maria and Aunt Nellie in about 1900. Cool, huh? Moving along. We have this photo of who I think is Emmeline, although it could be Elizabeth. Elizabeth looks the exact same, so it's neat to look at. Either way, it's like I'm looking at my great-grandmother. Great-great-grandmother. This here is Emmeline right here. What year? Probably late 1870s or early 1880s. She looks, excuse my Christmas lights. She kind of looks almost very similar there. So it's probably 1870 or 1880. Those are my Christmas lights there. All right, so there is, I believe, Emmeline again. This would be, she's older here. She's definitely, this is about 1900. Could even be 1910. I would say it's 1900. There's Emmeline, twin of Elizabeth Henriette. And there is Emmeline and Maria and great Aunt Nellie, great. And there is their uncle. This is Pierre Basile Mignault. He was the husband of my great-great-grandmother, Elizabeth Henriette Branchaud, the twin. So Emmeline's twin sister is this man's wife. And he was a Supreme Court judge that was appointed to his post in Canada. And Supreme Court judge is a big deal. The top judge in Canada. He was appointed by Sir Robert Borden in 1920. One of the last moves Sir Robert made. He appointed this man the Supreme Court judge of Canada. And Sir Robert Borden is my second cousin, 4 times removed. He's my grandfather Bob's second cousin. And my grandfather Bob married Priscilla. And this is Priscilla's grandfather right here. So there's a little bit of, family helping, family going on. That my grandfather Bob would have met my grandmother Priscilla in Montreal. It was 1939. And he probably met her at this guy's house or at some party where this guy was. And of course, being named Robert Borden and being connected to Sir Robert probably helped his chances hooking up with my grandmother. Anyway, I'm here today because of these people and, of course, my grandparents that got together. Probably because Sir Robert put this guy in the spot. Pretty neat, eh? Don't know who that is. Don't even know if it's a real person. This here is Elizabeth Henriette Branchaud, the mother of Emmeline and Elizabeth Henriette. Again, this could be at any time in her life after she's 40. So it could be anywhere between 1875 and 1900. If I had to guess, I'd say, probably late 1890s. Cool photo, eh? Maybe even early 1900s. And her husband is this man here. Let's see if I can get a good shot here. This is Moise Branchaud. His portrait his picture was up on the wall with his wife, Elizabeth Henriette Branchaud, at my grandparents' house. My grandmother, this was her great-grandfather. She used to have it up in the dining room. So we've always seen this guy who just didn't really know exactly who he was till I really got into it. He was born in 1827. I think he died in the late 1800s, although I mean, there's two accounts. There's another one saying he died in 1910. Don't know about that. And her portrait, this one right here, was up on the wall at my grandparents'. Now this here, pretty cool, eh? Here, let me fix it. All right, so this here are two scary looking nuns. No, this here are the twins, Emmeline and Elizabeth. And I'm gonna guess Elizabeth is on the left, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. And the crazy thing is, the handwriting on these things is really difficult to understand, but they're 16 years of age, and this is in 1878. Pretty neat, eh? Look at the old paper. This is old paper from like 140 years ago. So they're the twins. And they're young, but man, they don't look young, do they? Neat. This here, I'm not sure. It's probably one of the twins. Can't tell. And it's probably the turn of the century. Now this photo here is extremely neat. Really neat. Because like, we got, I think it's Emmeline again. Could be Elizabeth. And she's posing. This is probably 1890s. I mean, I know it's 1890 because look what's sitting on the chair. It's the photo album we're looking at right now. Now look at everything in that photo. Look how old everything is. The chair, the curtain, the background, the floor, the pillar, her outfit. She's been dead since 1947. You know, it's 2024. And that book, you know, is still here. It's freaking nuts. This here is, I would say, an uncle. Don't have the uncle's name, but this is a Keywood for sure. Has to be. This is Nellie's dad, Nellie and Maria's dad, William Wood. William Wood didn't make it past 1896, 1901. Somewhere in between there he died. He was born in 1865 in San Francisco, I believe. And he was a journalist, like me. And anyway, he died young. It's kind of weird. A lot of the men in our family died young back then. So here, this is definitely a picture of Elizabeth. This is not Emmeline. So this is a picture that was up in our house. Not my house. My grandmother and grandfather's house. Borden's, Priscilla and Robert, a.k.a. Bob. This is her wedding day, Elizabeth's wedding day, and I believe it's in 1888. I believe it's like September, October 1888. So, before Hitler was born. She outlived Hitler. She was, I think, 84 when she died, Elizabeth. Do not know Emmeline's time frame, but that's a cool photo. And here we've got, don't know, not sure. It could be a brother of the Woods again. Some of these pictures could also be Judge Mignault, Supreme Court Judge Mignault, Pierre Basile. This here, I figured out who these two were last night. Jean and Maurice, that's it, Maurice. And these are the two brothers of my grandmother's mother, Marnie. So these are her uncles, Jean and Maurice. Jean was a little older than Maurice, but Maurice died first in 1946 or 7. And Jean died in the 1950s, the early 50s. And their sister, Aline, a.k.a. Marnie, my grandmother's mother, so my great-grandmother, who I did get the chance to meet before she died at the age of 94 in 1984, she outlived the two of them by like a long, like we're talking at least 30 years, 35 years. And she was the oldest of the 3 kids. This man here, don't know a whole lot. He kind of looks like... No, he doesn't look like any of these guys. John Wilkes Booth? No, I'm just kidding. He's probably a Keywood. He has the same distinct look. I think there were a bunch of brothers. Don't know. Now, I thought this guy, his name was Willie, but I think I was wrong. He is... Man, I'm not sure. The ancestry doesn't give me the information. Let's pull him out here and see. It says Willie Wood, my brother at 22 months. Oh my goodness, it does say stuff here. Died April 19th, 1900. That's kind of sad. So she did have a brother and he died at 22 months. Oh, I don't get it. Hang on. Anyway, if this is true, it means Willie was born in 1898 and died in 1900. That's sad. That must be 1899 right there. I could swear she had a brother that lived. We'll see. This is I can't read that at all. Coney Isabel? I don't know. She looks like the Wicked Witch of the West with the umbrella and the hat. That's how a lot of ladies looked back then, though. I think she's an aunt. We'll figure it out someday. There's Emmeline. It looks like Emmeline as well. This would be in the 1900s for sure. Maybe 1900, maybe a little later, like 1909. She looks older. She's got a fur coat and fur hat. Look at the background. The scenery is so nice. Everything back then looks so neat. I mean, I know it's a background for photos and portraits, but okay, here, I mean, this could be Emmeline. It does look like Elizabeth. This here looks like Emmeline. And they look young. There's that book again. So this would be, yeah, I'd say early 1890s. Here, this photo here, this one's younger, maybe 1880s. Oh, we've seen this guy before. It's definitely a Keywood. There is Elizabeth and Emmeline. Look at the old chair and that old curtain there behind them. I would say they're probably in their early 30s. Well, they could be in their 20s. This is definitely at least 1880s. 1880s, maybe probably 1890s. Early 1890s, I would say. Pretty cool, huh? The two twins. The one on the left is my great-great-grandmother. And, oh man, she had a long name. It's like Mary, Elizabeth, Henriette, and there was three more. And she was a Branchaud, turned into a Mignault. She was a Mignault, my great-grandmother, Aline Mignault, and my grandmother, Priscilla McKinnon. Her mother's maiden name is Mignault. I think that's Nellie. Don't know for sure, but that would be, she's about 2, so I'm guessing that's 1899 right there. I just find all these 1800 photos so cool. And there's a photo, we've seen this before, I think. There's Maria and Great Aunt Nellie, Great Aunt Nellie. I think this is an Uncle Charles, maybe. It says Bruce on it. I don't think that's anything, but who knows? Maybe that's a name. Bruce. There is Now, I think that's Aunt Nellie. I can't be certain. It could be my great-grandmother, Marnie. Oh, let's try to get a good picture here. I mean, I'm guessing Nellie, but I don't know. Could be Marnie. Cool photos, eh? Let's pull it out. Okay, so it says Branchaud on it. But, man, I don't think that's Emmeline or Elizabeth. Like, it looks too new. It looks like the 1900s. So, I don't know. Nellie or Marnie. I don't think that is Maria. This is William Keywood here on the left. He's at Oxford. He started at Oxford in 1884, so this is sometime in the mid-1880s. Pretty neat photo, eh? There is Emmeline. I think this is that Willie Wood again. I think that's Nellie. This here is a creepy photo, the creepiest of the bunch. There's William Keywood. That, I think, is his father, the grandfather of Nellie and Elizabeth, and the two brothers, probably. He looks like one of the creepy guys out of that Until It Sleeps Metallica video. This is a really cool photo. This is my great-grandmother. And she looks like my mother when she was 5 years old. So this is Aline Mignault, otherwise known as Marnie, daughter of Elizabeth, the twin, and Pierre Basile Mignault, the Supreme Court judge. And I met this lady. Marnie died when I was 3 years old and 1 day. Pretty neat, eh? And there's like no body. It's just like face. It's so weird. But that's 1895, this photo. She's 5 years old. I think that's Maria. That would probably be in 1897. Look at the books, eh? Pretty neat. I don't think those are photo albums. Could be. Not this one, I don't think. This here is Maria, I'm pretty sure. So this would be 1894, this photo. And this here is Nellie Keywood. Very attractive looking photo here. This is the lady that lived till 100 years of age. I would say this is 1909. Oh, it has some words here. Aunt Nellie, looking pleased with herself. Don't have a date or anything. I would say it's about 1909. She's 13 or 14 here. So that's right before the First War, the Great War. This here is a First Communion of Maria Keywood, May 8, 1905. 1905 or 6. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm not going to pull that out. It's neat. And then we've got a photo of what looks like an aunt, maybe. I'm just not sure what her name is. It looks like it's Offer. Oh, geez, I can't read that. Sarah, maybe? Lynette? Can't read it. We're going to figure it out someday. This is that lady again, that Coran Isabel or whatever. We'll come out with a date for that in a sec. See, I was hoping this was Willie Wood. I'm not sure. I'm going to pull it out and see what it is. All right, so this is Jean Mignault. This is Aline's brother, my great-grandmother. And he's 5 years old here. So this is probably 1899 right here. Neat, huh? All right, let's do some more. I would say this here is either Jean again, or it's Maurice. This would be either the same exact time, 1899, or if it's Jean, it's probably 1897. The Nun. That actually does kind of look like it might be one of the twins. I'm not sure. Do not know. Okay, what do we got here? We got what looks like... He looks like Nellie again. And she looks like she's 3. So that would be 1900. I mean, it could be 1899 as well, as the photos above. Let's go with 1899. Looks really old. This here looks like the same girl we saw a few frames ago. I mean, this could be Marnie, but I don't know. Could be Nellie. Nellie doesn't look like this. Let's just look. One sec. That's Nellie. Look at the head. You know what? I think that's Marnie. I'm going to go on a limb and say that is Marnie. Let's pull it out and see. All right, so pulling it out didn't help, but there's another picture. And if that's Marnie, she's about 10. That's about 1899 or 1900. I'm not sure if that's a real person in the family. A lot of these things don't tell us. But it might be a cousin. This is Aunt Sally. She looks like one of the crazy ladies from Wizard of Oz, too. I'm not sure on Aunt Sally's background. We'll figure it out someday. Here we've got what looks like... Ooh, I'm not 100% sure. That's what I hate about some of these photos. I'm going to guess this is Aunt Sally's husband. So if I can find out who Sally is, I'll probably find out who that is. This here could be their child. Or this could be Marnie. It kind of looks like Marnie. Eileen. And how old would she be here? Oh, she could be 18. She could be. It's hard to tell. That would be like 1908. Now, these are interesting photos right here. This looks like a matriarch, Elizabeth Henriette Mondelet. And this might be like a brother, Mondelet. Could be a father. I mean, she looks like she's in her 60s. This looks like 1900. It's a very nice photo. It looks about 1900. And I don't think Mondelet, her father, would be alive at this point. So, I don't know who the man is. Figure it out someday. But that's definitely my great-great-great-grandmother. Elizabeth Henriette Branchaud. At the turn of the century. And this, I can't tell you who this is. It's... Whoa! Okay, the picture fell out there, but it's back in now. Not 100% sure on this one. I think this is an old photo. And I think it's the mother of this lady here. Elizabeth Henriette. So this is Claire Primo, I believe, who would be the mother of her. So great-great-great-great-grandmother. Born in 1807. She was alive until the late 1860s or early 1870s. That photo, just by the quality of it, looks like from around that time frame. So that's a really neat photo. Maybe that's her husband. I don't know. If it is, then this picture would be 1874 maybe. And that's the only way they could be in the same photo, because he died in 1874. Don't know the answers. We're going to have to turn this book around. We're nearing the end. Don't worry. So, we got Moisey Branchaud, my grandmother's great-grandfather. Hold on. Great-grandfather, yeah. Moisey, and then his wife, who is the lady we just saw a minute ago. It's sideways, but that lady. Elizabeth Henriette Branchaud. This, I don't know. It could be Willie again, but I think this is 1860s, 18 late 1860s. All of these photos. So look at them again. 1860. She's young looking then. I'd say like 1868 or 1869. The reason I say this is it's like a family photo. And they're the twins. So Emmeline and Elizabeth. And they don't look any older than, I wouldn't say 7, maybe 6. So this is like 1868, 1869, right after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. Crazy, huh? So there's the twins. One of my great-great-grandmothers. This is 112 years, 13 years before I was born. All right, let's do another page here. Oh, not sure on this kid here. Not sure. I mean, that could be Moisey when he was a baby, but I doubt it. There's Moisey. Let's see, am I gonna get a good photo here? It's pretty hard. This is drop stuff. That's Nellie's father, Willie Wood. This is probably early 1880s. It's definitely not 1865 because he was born that year. He's at least 17 or 18 here. This is definitely 1880s. This here is grandfather Wood, with a son who died in infancy. Which is probably Willie. So that's Nellie's grandfather. This is either Emmeline or Elizabeth, probably Emmeline. This photo looks like 1878 again. Looks just like that other photo we saw of her. This here, not sure. Wish I knew. Could be William. This looks like Emmeline, and she looks quite a bit older. So I'm gonna guess. I mean, it might be a cousin, but if it's Emmeline, it's probably this could be one of the newer photos, like 1910s or 20s. This is Uncle Charles. We've seen him earlier. He looks young here. Don't know who Charles is yet. We're gonna get to the bottom of it. Okay, so we're on the last page of the book, and here we have again 2 people I'm not sure on. I don't want to rip the whole book to shreds trying to figure it out. This is Cousin Tammy Day, I think it says. I'll have to look her up. Not sure exactly who she is. And this man here is Sir Wilfrid Laurier. Just kidding. John A. MacDonald. No. This is Judge Mondelet. This is... what's his name? I think it's Joseph Mondelet. Joseph Mondelet was a Supreme Court judge. We have lots of Supreme Court judges in our family. And he was born in 1801. And I believe he died in 1874, which would make these pictures 1874. Pretty neat, eh? So here, Judge Joseph Mondelet, his father was Dominique Mondelet, and he named one of his sons Dominique. So Joseph had a brother named Dominique, who had a daughter named Francois Eloise. And Francois Eloise was the niece of Joseph, this man. And Francois Eloise went on to marry the man who wrote the Canadian anthem. There were 3 men who wrote the anthem, but there was an original who wrote the anthem in French. His name was Adolphe Basile Routhier. Basile, like Pierre Basile Mignault. And Adolphe Basile Routhier was a judge. And so was Dominique, his father. Father-in-law. Dominique, who was this man's father, was a judge. And then this man, Joseph, was a judge. And then Dominique's daughter, Francois Louise, married a judge, Adolphe Basile Routhier. And then eventually, Elizabeth married a judge named Pierre Basile Mignault. So we have a lot of judges in the family tree. Let's see what I dropped. There's a picture of William Keywood. What's sad is he died somewhere between 1896 and 1901. That's the exact same time frame that our poor little dude here, Willie Wood, died. Sad. Named after each other. I think Nellie told me that on the phone. But, I couldn't understand French, and she was so old, she sounded like a crazy dog. Oh, I can't get this to work. All right, so this is the residence of the Branchauds, Baronnois, Quebec. So Moisey Branchaud lived on a property that looked just like that, with horse and carriages running around. They were definitely upper class. Oy. Right, hang on. Here's a great photo here of Moisey. And this is, I'd say he looks in his 60s here. So that would make him, this is probably when the book was made, in 1892. It could be late 1880s. Look at look at everything in the photo. Like he's writing. He's got a book out. He's writing something. He's got like a fur carpet there by his feet. Oh, it's so interesting. This is the portrait, I think, that was on the wall at the Sky Farm in the dining room. All right, I dropped some more stuff. Not much more, though. No, just one more. Okay, one more. Okay, it's coming. Drum roll. I have to pause it.